Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is KDK, Kyo Boom Daiken. Just got finished doing a live stream on my other channel, my main channel, Kyo Daiken, with Damaso during we were discussing movies and so forth. But in today's video on this channel, I have our resident expert who I love to invite here because he knows what he's talking about. You guys all know who Crazy Steve Pyrotechnics is. He is well informed in the pyro community. He definitely knows his stuff. And in today's video, we are going to discuss the aftermath of what happened in Ontario, California, with that loud explosion that we had about a week ago. It was actually last Monday. And so before we get into it, just a quick recap. We have 2 confirmed dead individuals. We don't know who they are. A lot of hurt people. I believe it was 800. It was over 800. I can't remember exactly what it was. 800 yards or whatever the case might be. It was a number of city blocks that was obviously impacted. But as of yesterday, residents in that area have not been able to return home as a result of this. Some of them have had to stay in shelters and had to be relocated for the time being. So even though that this fireworks situation was an explosion and we believe that it happened last week and we think it's over, it's not over for the residents of Ontario, California. So thank you guys for welcoming our resident expert, Crazy Steve Pyrotechnics, on the channel. He's been on here before. So Steve, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Kyo. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you were able to make it on today.
Yeah, glad I was able to join you. So yeah, this Ontario, California situation is definitely one of the more interesting explosions we've seen in the United States over the years. I mean, normally we don't see these kind of explosions happening in residential neighborhoods.
Especially not California. We're softies compared to you guys out there.
Minnesota's kind of a softy state too, but with pyrotechnician's license, there's a little more leeway. Of course, when you do professional shows, you have to obtain permits and stuff like that, which is mostly of what I do here in Minnesota. But based on what I've kind of seen here, what we're finding out more and more is that a majority of the fireworks involved in this explosion were actually 1.4 consumer fireworks, and they weren't commercial fireworks like they initially thought, which is something definitely kind of interesting when we look at the actual footage of the explosion. Because normally when you see that type of explosion, you're looking at commercial grade fireworks, which is what they initially thought, which brings me to my speculation of maybe consumer overloads that were improperly stored,
Right.
Which of course makes sense with the salutes that we saw going off in the initial explosion as well, which means there was some sort of overload involved in this explosion for sure.
Or maybe they aren't telling us because it's obviously under ATF and FBI investigation.
Well, this is based on confirmed news articles and research that I've done extensively over the last couple days. But they're finding out more and more that there were just mainly 1.4 fireworks. I mean, they're saying there was possibly some larger shells during an initial investigation announcement, but they're initially retracting that statement. So it could be that they're trying to cover things initially and they'll release more later on, or it could be true that this is just a 1.4 related explosion, which would be very unusual under these circumstances, because the conditions would have to be just perfect for an explosion like that to happen with 1.4 pyrotechnics. They undergo extensive shock detonation tests, drop tests, and all sorts of things to be allowed onto the consumer market. So this is definitely something interesting and new for the ATF to definitely investigate.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this. What was your initial impression or thoughts when you heard this took place in California?
I mean, I've known California to be kind of a wild and crazy pyro state. I mean, yeah, fireworks are illegal, but I watch the videos on YouTube, and you guys in Cali know how to take care of business. You guys go hard, that's for sure. But then again, it comes down to remembering, be safe with these things. Don't store them in a place where, or don't store over a certain amount. Ideally, you want to have 10 to 15 cases of fireworks. And definitely, if you look at that explosion, we're looking at possibly almost a half container worth of fireworks. When they said there was debris scattered around 3 blocks, and they had on the first day collected 52 27-gallon buckets of pyro debris.
Right.
And then they said they connected. The second day they collected another 110. So there was a lot of explosives involved in this explosion, and a lot of it didn't even detonate, is what they were saying. So that was very fortunate, because the explosion could have been a lot worse. But looking at the actual damages, they released the official damage estimate today at $3.2 million in damage.
It's more than that. It's California. It's more, I know it's more than that, because remember, there were people several blocks away that had their windows blown out.
Well, they were saying 3.2 million. That was the news article released just as of this morning. Yeah. So of course that could update as more and more damage is discovered. But my first impression of this explosion is definitely something that I've never seen before, because they don't just detonate. Something has to set them off. Right. So whether or not they were doing some sort of manufacturing inside of that garage or whatever else, 1-4 fireworks will not just detonate for any given reason.
Did you see the aerial footage of the explosion?
I saw some of the aerial footage of the explosion, yes, from a few angles.
Did you see that crater that was in the middle of that house, like where the roof blew open?
Oh, yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, I mean, do you look at that? That's definitely a huge crater.
Yeah, they were confused because they aren't sure which house was housing the fireworks or storing the fireworks, because that area is really interesting because it is a residential area. However, you do have incorporated parts of SoCal where people have animals, livestock, things like that. And then of course you could have 3 or 4 homes, or like an additional 1 or 2 guest homes, all on a couple of acres of land. And I believe that's the kind of area that where this happened.
Yep, that's kind of what I'm understanding too, based on the layout of the neighborhood. But like I said, this is always just an unfortunate event when something happens like this. I mean, you don't hear about it in the United States, stuff like this happening. You hear about it in China when, a factory blows up or something. Like recently last year, MC Fireworks had an accident where one of their buildings went boom.
Right.
No one was killed in that incident, thankfully, but it's just a reminder that, fireworks are fireworks. They're not exactly 100% safe. There's always a risk. So,
well, one thing I can promise you and guarantee you is I'm sure they weren't stocking up on TNT fireworks.
Oh, yeah. or Phantom, for that matter.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't. They won't find any TNT, and they won't find any Phantom, and I'm sure they won't find any of those fireworks that typically Walmart sells, with the party poppers and stuff. So we know none of them were the culprits.
Yep, we know none of them were the culprits, but I was looking at a lot of the debris footage. They were uploading pictures. There's been some files released and stuff, and it's they're just generic festival ball wraps. So we don't know exactly what a lot of the stuff is, and a lot of generic overload does come over that way. So it's iffy. It's a 50-50 chance that it was overloaded, but and they've started cracking down on overload a lot more over the years. As you're going to see, it's more and more of it's becoming more and more rare, and that's due to exposure, everyone wanting the greatest product, and that's where I kind of say, if you have it and you know what it is, don't show the labels. Just don't talk about it. Light it off. Have fun with it. You don't need to be the hottest pyro on the block. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that typically happens out here in Southern California, rather, is that people get
And a lot
Yeah.
of, and believe it or not, a lot of the recalls are responsible of like videos on the internet. Like there was some rockets that came over not even 2 months ago, and I think 3 or 4 pyros uploaded a video, and they were pulled within a month.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. So it's just a matter of they're really cracking down on that kind of stuff now, and people changing.
Well,
They're always changing the names and stuff, but like I said, when it comes down to overloaded product, which they may actually end up finding out that that's what this was, and then there might be a heavier crackdown at the port on that kind of stuff.
well, I can tell you now there's going to be a heavier crackdown if people have videos of those labels that they found. And those going to be, like let's say if it's ABC Firework and people see YouTube videos of ABC or mentioning those mentioned somewhere online, whether they're Facebook.
I mean, another thing that's gotten out of hand too is strobe rockets. Let's be honest. Like strobe rockets have gotten way out of hand. That was something that used to be like a PGI exclusive thing. Like when you went to PGI, that was what you went to go see. And and now we have all these amateur builders on the market that are building these and selling them to consumers. And they're going to start cracking down on that as well. I mean, the ATF does take down a lot of people every year for that. There's just so many of them that there can only take so many at a time.
Right.
I know a few people that were manufacturing illegally that ended up getting in trouble with the ATF, and that was a fellow YouTuber actually that got involved in that situation. So it's just a kind of gray area. It's illegal, but they don't have enough resources to take care of that problem. Like I'm all for you guys having fun with fireworks. I get it. I love blowing stuff up too. As you guys see in my videos all the time, I'm always shooting off my really nice expensive firecrackers that I pick up or whatever else.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I know that was just really unfortunate, and hopefully the pyro community really learned something from this situation, because number one, obviously, it's the worst time for it to happen. We know that fireworks and other products, I did a video a few weeks ago, are still sitting out there on the harbor in not San Pedro, but Long Beach Harbor.
Long Beach is where a lot of our pyro is. I know of at least 5 or 6 stores that are just waiting on containers that are just sitting out there, just waiting to be unloaded. So, there's a good chance that we'll be seeing some product like squeezing in right in June-ish area. From my understanding, I know if you guys are looking for fireworks now, Hannibal Superstore down in Missouri is plentiful stocked. Tom's a great guy. You guys can go down there and visit him if you guys are in that area. If you guys are out in kind of Nevada area, you're kind of SOL. You got to deal with Red Apple Fireworks with a little more expensive pricing. But yeah, let's go ahead and I think let's talk about this video that we're about to show everyone here. So this is kind of a situation where they tested this in the UK about 10 years ago, where they decided to fill a 20-foot container with 3-inch willow shells. So what they did was they e-matched one, and what you're about to see is a container in that situation. So as you can see, it's very, very, very violent. So if you guys are wondering a little more about that, that is 19,990 pounds of 3-inch willow shells.
Jesus.
So all they did was e-match one shell in that entire container and hit a button. So you can see it's almost instantaneous ignition of the black powder, and that's the characteristic of 1.3 fireworks, and why the flash powder is shock and friction sensitive. Flash powder actually detonates at about 25,000 feet per second, which is about Mach 21. So 21 times the speed of sound. So, when you have that amount of power in a shock wave, when you think about it, tannerite, which is basically ANFO, where they substitute aluminum for the diesel fuel oil or whatever in that mixture, and that'll detonate at only 2,000 feet per second. So
Right.
you're talking like an initial detonation of flash powder. It's going to set off everything in its path. Flash, once it gets going, it's an instantaneous ignition, which is definitely a characteristic of 1.3 fireworks and not 1.4. If you look at a lot of container fires on YouTube where firework stores have caught fire. There was one last year. I can actually post a link on my community page for you guys to go view that, which shows a few containers that caught fire, and 1.4, it just burns. It doesn't really, explode like we saw in that video, which has me a little speculated about the 1.4 consumer kind of thing. For sure.
Yeah. So do you honestly think it was more consumer fireworks in there? Because remember, this was igniting for about, I think there was a fire there, or the fireworks were going off for about a good 45 to maybe 30 minutes. Okay. Because the residents in that area reported that somebody was shooting fireworks. And so about 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later, that's when you had that huge explosion. So it wasn't as instantaneous as the video you're sharing with us today.
Yeah, so, and that could have been too like a buildup in a fire, because it does have to, burn through that cardboard and everything else to get to those fuses or, whatever else involved. So as you can see there, it's kind of just smoking. So let's look at.
Yeah, I believe this was after the initial explosion. I believe it was. I don't remember which part of the video this was, because I believe it may have been afterwards, and that's what kind of alerted everybody to that smoke that was burning.
Yeah,
at the
so
time.
I mean, it's definitely kind of like I said, an unusual situation. But my initial thoughts is it's definitely, I'm thinking it's more 1.3 than 1.4. Like I said, I'm thinking 1.4 LL. That's my initial speculation.
All right. Wow. So based upon the amount of fireworks that were there, how long, or would you say, well, do you think these guys were manufacturing fireworks, or were you think they were stocking up from other neighboring stores and areas? Because they had to have a massive stock in order for some.
It's really hard to tell, Keo. I mean, because a characteristic of that explosion, it's a manufacturing plant would do the same thing with flash powder as a situation there. So for all we know, they could have been, and they could not have been. It's just something that the ATF will have to investigate and figure out. My speculation is there's about a 30 to 35% chance that they were manufacturing in there. Just based on, because if they were manufacturing, I think that the initial explosion with the exposed powder would have been more instantaneous when the fire started. Because particle dust in the air and on the floors with flash powder, it will air travel. The dust particles, if they're fine enough in the air, it'll travel along it like a wick.
Right, of course.
So that's why a lot of the places, they tell you, when you're mixing flash powder, don't have electronic devices that produce static electricity or anything like that.
Right.
So there's safety precautions, of course, with flash powder.
Have you heard through maybe any of your pyro connections, or maybe through anybody, is this somebody who was known in the pyro community?
I haven't heard anything on my mainstreams between, I think I had a few people think that they knew them, that they think they were part of one of the pyrotechnic clubs out closer to California, is what a few people were saying. But until those identities are confirmed, the people that I had talked to really don't know whether or not it is them or not. So.
Yeah, look at that. That's when you had the second volley of the fireworks going off right here.
Second volley there, which, if it was a fire, that darn well could have been, just the critical ignition point of 1.4.
Right. Yeah, tragic. Yeah, it would just seem like, if this person was connected or how deep they were involved, obviously we would know if they had Facebook or if they were on
Um,
Discord,
I
YouTube
heard
videos,
I heard someone
something.
from Pyro Addicts. I just talked to Pyro Addicts the other day. Everyone's doing well, so I don't think it was anyone with them. But I just talked to Pyro Addicts the other day. He's doing good. He was just actually live on his live stream the other day.
Yeah, somebody would say something if we actually knew who it was by now. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. Like we knew right away when, of course, Sheets died. That was pretty much instantly all over the pages, because Sheets was well known when that happened last year when those containers went off and he unfortunately passed away in that explosion. Really good guy, for sure.
Wow.
Like I said, just a reminder, pyro is dangerous.
Definitely. I remember because California, especially since COVID, a lot of people have been buying fireworks or stocking up. Obviously, I'm sure this guy was already stocked up well before COVID hit. But, primarily, a lot of people in Southern California now have been shooting a lot of fireworks, especially all over LA City, near downtown LA and other parts of LA. Within the past 2 or 3 years, it's really gotten, well, I wouldn't say bad, but really gotten amazing as far as even the aerial footage of the amount of people buying pyro and buying fireworks and so forth.
I think that was just spectacular watching that time lapse of the 4th of July for LA. That was definitely, like I said, you guys know how to have fun out there, and you really showed the government who was boss. That was for sure.
Well, we don't play that. Remember the riots in LA, when the LA riots and stuff, we know how to riot too. Nobody does it like LA.
That's for sure. I mean, unless you look at Seattle when they did that whole demilitarized zone or whatever, they know how to protest too.
That's very true.
But
yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to say it's good, but at least we know it's nobody we've known or maybe people that we've been connected with in the pyro industry. But again, we don't know if those two people, were they the ones living there, or it could have been people living next door. I know I was watching a video a few days ago. There was a lady standing outside and you could see the fireworks hitting her. She got burned on her foot and she had to go to the emergency room because of that, because of all the debris and stuff that was, flying around.
And like I said, when you're looking at a shockwave like that, traveling at, almost 21 times the speed of sound, that's the initial blast. Of course, it with a shockwave, it does, dissipate over the initial, explosion. So, it was definitely weaker by the point it reached those properties, but still definitely powerful and pushing that debris with it. And one of the interesting things about when you have a very large explosion like that is it's a very sharp out and then a very sharp in, kind of like a vacuum effect from the air cooling. It's very, very quick and subtle, which is why it causes such, a shock and, damage, is because you got all that air moving in an outward direction and then it all quickly comes back in to replace that airspace. It's just dynamics and chemistry and, physics for that matter. Which is why a nuclear bomb is so powerful when you think about it. It's a vacuum effect from all the heat and the dissipation of, air from the outward energy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'm just still shocked that it actually happened.
I am too. Like I was definitely shocked to, see something like that. I've never seen, I've seen small firework fires. I've seen, accidents where something catches fire and it's a little few explosions here and there, but I've never seen something like that in a neighborhood.
Yeah, especially residential neighborhood. Now, the good thing is, out of all this, I'm glad this wasn't a regular residential neighborhood where you have homes stacked on top of homes, because a lot of the homes in the suburbs in this particular area, that's how they're made. You have houses right next to homes, but primarily in
I
the
think if
area.
it would have been in a more densely populated home area, the damage would have been so much worse. I mean, we're talking like depth holes in like the 20s to 30s. Because when you have those that close together, it's
Right.
gonna destroy everything in its path within a certain radius of that explosion from the shockwave.
And then unfortunately it didn't hit any gas lines.
Pounds that is. I mean, once they find out how actually like an estimate of how many pounds that was, they'll be able to calculate exactly how powerful that explosion was. And tons of TNT, which is how they use to measure explosions when they happen. It's tons of TNT. So we'll definitely find out more about that once they finish up the investigation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I'm glad. I mean, we don't even know if it hit any gas lines. I mean, because I could just imagine if it did, then of course you could have had a huge chain reaction. If somebody was working on any gas lines, or if it, I don't know. I don't even want to think about something like that. I mean, especially in this area.
About that either, man. Like for real.
Yeah.
I think we should open it up to you here just for a little bit on the chat if anyone has any questions to ask or whatever.
Yeah, Kelly, Pyro, if any of you guys in the chat have any questions to ask, Steve over here. Oh, and Steve, if you also want to recommend, what is the name of that new brand that you're representing? You said you were exposed.
Yeah, so actually, I'm excited to announce that I'm actually the official wholesale rep for Shutter Bomb USA. We're actually going to be releasing a smoke bomb brand called Cloud9 Pyro. Our wholesale website is going to be going live within the next week here or so. As of right now, we do have the Shutter Bomb website up.
Is this the website here?
Yep, that's the Shutter Bomb website. I do have a affiliate link down below, and if you guys want to order wholesale, you can reach out directly to me. Like I said, I'm the official wholesale rep, so I can get you these at a wholesale price. A minimum case is 200 pieces. For the smaller devices. So you get 200 a case and they're a little cheaper. Of course, I'll discuss prices with you, and the more you buy, the cheaper they get, that's for sure. They're made in the USA, which is really cool. And actually right in Pahrump, Nevada, Enola Gay actually is the manufacturer of these. They originally were in the UK, and then they moved one of their factories out to China. But recently there was some warehouse space that actually opened up in Nevada. And that was in 2019, and they decided to bring over the Enola Gay manufacturing stateside, which is where we get the USA-made smoke bombs now. And let me tell you, these are going to be some of the best quality smoke bombs on the face of the planet. You're not going to find any Chinese, grenade that's going to be able to compete with the smoke thickness, the color, the duration. Like I said, they're a little higher on that price point because they're American made.
Right.
And I'm actually got about $400 worth of them coming to my house. And I'm going to be demoing them on my channel coming up here soon with Cody B. We're going to be doing a video with him for that as well.
Now let me ask you: are these the same type of smokes that they use in paintball?
Yes. They're definitely the same company that manufactures the ones for paintball. We're just rebranding them for the purposes of pyro, and photography, which is where we get the name Shutter Bomb for the current one that we have, which is a sister company of Enola Gay. And now we're going to be out branching to another one as Cloud9 Pyro, which is another sister company. which will be our Pyro market directed website. So you avoid all the photography and everything else. It'll be a strict Pyro dedicated site. And then if you guys do have your articles of pyrotechnics certification, so like a shooter certification or a pyrotechnician's license, I can hook you up with some articles of pyrotechnics devices, which are going to be our MK7 flashbangs, which are a simulation cracker. And then we have our larger smoke grenades, which we call the Cloud Buster, which will smoke out an entire city block.
Nice.
Is
that a 1.3?
It is a 1.4. It is a 1.4 firework, but it is a 1.4 UN 033. I believe 337 or 338. And it's an article of pyrotechnics for 1.4. So if you look at the pricing of it, I believe it's a little more expensive at like $33. But if you buy in bulk, of course, I'll be able to get you a discount. I'm currently working with my boss to offer a promotional code discount for like a Crazy Steve referral, where you can type in a promotional code and get a discount. So I'm working on that deal with him. So I'll hopefully be able to get you guys a little cheaper on the smoke bombs with this sponsorship. I'm still working out that deal with him. But like I said, if you guys are wanting to buy wholesale, definitely reach out to me. If you're a store, I can send you over a price list, and we have all sorts of cool stuff in stock.
Sweet.
Like I said, there's a lot of articles, restricted stuff that we can't list on the website because it's not available to the general public. But if you have your, like I said, you have your shooter certification, I'll be glad to hook you up with some cool devices.
Perfect. Awesome. So Steve, where do you think the pyro community goes from here? Do you think there's going to be any more restrictions as a result of this? Do you think some more people are going to get busted? I mean, where do you think things are going to happen from here on out after the ATF and FBI finishes their investigation?
The really interesting thing is they're putting together this kind of explosion, but when an explosion like that happens, they're not going to be able to put exactly together all of the information, because a lot of evidence is destroyed in the initial explosion.
Right.
You're just finding scraps and remnants, I mean, it's different when there's a bomb or there's a bomb explosion, because you have the timer parts, you have everything else that they can use, to put together those pieces. They kind of have the similar thing with that, but with cardboard, it burns up. Metal and stuff like that stays intact with like bombings and stuff like that, which makes it easier for them to figure out their investigation versus cardboard. So, they may never find out exactly what caused this full explosion. So.
Yeah, and they probably took some fireworks home too for their kids. That's how it always goes. Like, like I was listening to the fire department, like, oh yeah, we took them, the fireworks and destroyed them. Like, really? Okay.
I have a video of an ATF agent from one of the guys that got their stuff confiscated, and he's just lighting it off, and he goes, "Dang, that was good."
Oh gosh.
Because deep down, they're just doing their job, but they all are just like us. They have a love for explosives, and if they didn't, they wouldn't be doing the job that they were doing.
Oh, definitely. I'm surprised you didn't apply for ATF years ago, huh?
Nah, I'm good, man. I enjoy shooting this stuff. I believe in recreational fireworks. I just believe in safety and training and stuff like that. I believe there's a possibility here in Minnesota where I live where they're going to be legalizing aerials, and I've been constantly just emailing the government like, hey, when are you going to do it? Kind of pushing them with, facts, because, We're a state where we can only have fountains up to 500 grams. There's no aerials, there's no firecrackers, no bottle rockets allowed, nothing that
Right.
leaves the air. So it'll be definitely a kind of a good thing when we get them legalized here, because people are doing it anyway, and the sooner we can educate people on how to properly use these things, the less chance we're going to have of having another explosion like this. Talking about how to properly store your fireworks, where to put them. If you're storing fireworks in your house, stop doing it. Put them in an outdoor shed or a garage,
Right.
or even like, there are some places that will rent you a storage container that'll drop right on your property, a little storage container that you can rent for 45 or 50 bucks a month, to have something to store your pyro in, to keep it safe.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people really need to practice, safety, that fireworks aren't meant to be toyed around with. It is not like you can hit the rewind button or say, hey, hold up, wait a minute, like don't ignite, because once it goes up, there's no way of really tracking it down. Like even a fire, you could, maybe toss some water on it or something in a fire situation, but fireworks, they're exploding all around you. And so you only have one
Yep.
choice, which is to prevent it from happening or get out the way.
Like we've had situations, where we'll hear a shell kick out of the tube. We'll hear it go up. We'll see the time fuse ignite, and the time fuse will go dark, and we won't have a break in the air. So now we're dealing with a live shell that could be a hang fire. It could be a dud that burned out. You really don't know. So that's where the safety comes in. Like always keep an eye on where your shells are going and stuff like that. Don't stick your head over the tube. If it's a dud, wait 15 minutes and then you can dump it out on the ground, or fill the tube with water and then dump it out on the ground. Don't try to refuse it. That's dumb.
Yeah. I think it's all about safety, but I think the other thing is too, again, guys, make sure you guys are practicing safety. But aside from that, try to have fun too, but our thoughts and prayers go out to the individuals that are still displaced
Underground
from their
bunker,
home.
like Colin Fierce. Ooh, I gotta dispute that one, Soup Freak. Just give me 1 second. I have a video actually.
Who's Colin Fierce? Who's that guy?
Colin Fierce. He's a UK YouTuber.
All right, here's the video I have, the clip I have. You can see where windows are blowing out. So this lady wasn't, so you can see her heel. That's where she gets hit with the firework right there. So this was the thing I was mentioning earlier. See, they were watching the firework, and then all the show, not the show, but the incident. And then all of a sudden it was that loud explosion. And you can see all those windows just blow out. And so that's where she got hit on her heel with the firework. Well, she was trying to get back inside. It looked like she's locked out or something. So.
Okay, just give me 1 second here. I'm just searching.
Yeah, that's where she.
Boo, boo, boo. Underground test.
Yeah, and there's the this is the area view from what happened last Monday. I'm not sure if the fireworks were stored in that one house or location, but there's another location where there's a huge crater in the middle of the house. Yeah, people were standing out there watching this entire thing happen over the course of a good 30 minutes. So it wasn't that initial explosion where we typically see that happen. People had already started recording it. And so these are a lot of the people that are displaced. Some people had to get their pets, get their fish tanks, get whatever they had, get their belongings, because right now they are still trying to clear debris from that site. I'm just kind of fast forward. All right. You got a clip you want to show us?
Yep, I'm currently working on importing it right now, Keo.
All right.
Just give me a momento, and I'll have it for you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Steve has some really good stuff on his hard drive.
You know it, boy. Believe me, I have tons of unreleased footage I've never uploaded to my channel, and a lot of the stuff I filmed when I was a kid, and I'm just like, you know what, I was dumb and stupid, and I used to do a lot of stupid stuff. Like, I have some crazy videos that if I uploaded them, I would have the safety chiefs on my ass. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's probably some good stuff you need to upload to maybe TikTok or something, huh?
I've tried TikTok. I'm not doing so well on there, but I do have TikTok. It's Crazystevepyrotechnics if you want to follow me.
All right, so is this a new video or is this the same one we saw earlier?
That is the same one you're just watching. It's currently uploading with 30 seconds remaining in the video file. So,
all right, let me. Okay, so that's the same video you showed us earlier, right?
Yes.
That's the same one. All right, so let me remove this one.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Come on.
Yeah, that ganja at Red Apple Fireworks, man, that's an excellent shell. For those of you who didn't get a chance to get the ganja or the geisha, make sure you stock up on that one this year because those are two of my favorite shells right now at Red Apple. And I can tell you, as I'll say this again, it really competed with some of the other shells that you guys are familiar with, like Cobra Kai, and I can't think of the name of the other one, but I was really impressed shooting all of them side by side.
So this is going to be the full video release of these tests that we showed you. So I am now sending that. There it is. All right. So there's your new video.
This is it? That's it?
The new one that just showed up. Nope, not that one. The new one.
Let me remove it here. Hold up, because I only have.
There you go. There.
That's it. All right.
Now you see the new one. Okay.
Oh, so. Jesus Christ! What the hell is this?
All right. So this is a color shell test with the container above ground.
All right. This one has sound, so I'm not gonna mute it or anything. So let's play it. It should be playing already. Man.
So this is a 60-gram rockets. So these are rockets in this situation. Those are salute rockets, by the way. That's what they mass detonated.
All right. Before I let this video go any further, I gotta ask: hey, how'd you get a picture? How'd you get this picture or video of my stash? I just want to know how you guys get these videos of my stash. Nobody's seen this stuff before.
That was the underground container.
Jesus.
But that's why I have to say I dispute your claim about the underground container being safer. If you want to rewind that one more time for them, Keo.
So what was in this underground container?
Where earth cover container was partly filled with 150 millimeter color shells. So half filled 377.6 kilograms. So roughly about 4,500 pounds.
Is this consumer or 1.3?
1.3.
All right.
I mean, it does dampen the explosion somewhat, but
I look like some stuff they dropped off in Afghanistan. All right, so which one is this one here?
1.1 G color shells, 8-inch.
So, how far back are these cameras?
They are roughly, I would say, about half mile to 3/4 of a mile on some of them, and some are within a quarter mile of the explosions.
Jesus. And so, what was the entire blast radius for each one of these?
They were able to hear the explosions as far as 9.5 miles away.
Oh my God. 9.5 miles?
9.5 miles as a very, very, very loud boom. It was still very loud at that phase, at a
Right.
going to 120 to 150 decibels. So
Wow.
still very loud traveling through the air when you're dealing with this large amount of explosives.
Man. That's when you want to piss off the neighbors. And that one looks like Hiroshima.
And there's the waterfall explosion again here from earlier that we talked about.
Are you sure this wasn't your show last year?
No, but I was
that looks like some of that stuff that F10 Pyro would shoot. Where is he? Yeah, where is that F10 Pyro? He should be on tonight.
But if you guys want to check out my most recent video, feel free. I just actually did one with Mike's Vivid Thunder Pyrotechnics, so feel free to go check him out too. I had a great time out with him. So if you guys want to watch my most recent videos, you can go ahead and check out my channel. I got all sorts of cool stuff on there. 1-3 cakes, 1-4 consumer stuff. Me and a bunch of pyro buddies having fun, blowing shit up, having a good time, which is what we like to do. So. And then, like I said, if you guys want to order those shutter bombs, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be able to hook you up with that wholesale pricing.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you guys check out Crazy Steve Pyrotechnics YouTube. I'll leave a link. When this video is finished rendering, which usually takes like a day and a half, and it's finished, uploaded, I'll update the description. Make sure you guys check out his channel. He has some great stuff there. Obviously, he shoots more hardcore fireworks that I do on my channel. I'll try to do a little bit more reviews, and of course, all the stuff that I love shooting as well.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about the newest video is it contains a lot of few sneak peeks at new Raccoon products for 2021. So there's a few of them in there that are just released. So if you want to find out what those are, you got to go check them out. They're really spectacular and available stateside right now. So feel free to go check out that video, and you'll get to see a sneak peek at some of the 2021 Raccoon products.
All right. Do we have any more questions from the chat? Anything you guys want to ask Crazy Steve? And we definitely want to thank our guest for coming on the channel, giving us his expertise about everything, taking time out of his busy schedule. New information: all the cars that enter from California will have to stop and be searched before entering the state. Is that true?
I mean, you got that Nevada checkpoint. It's
we'll see. I don't know if that's true or not.
It really comes down to if you know your laws or not. I mean, technically they can't search you if they don't have probable cause. I mean, if your fireworks are openly exposed in your backseat, you're done for. I mean, if you had your fireworks in your trunk, you don't have to consent to a search. And that's a lot of the things is like, even at a DUI checkpoint, people think that they have to consent to a search. They don't. If you do your research, you don't ever have to consent to a checkpoint search.
Right. We do have a question from Soup Freak. Best practice for keeping stash dry.
Best practice for keeping stash dry. So, cool, dry place, low humidity. So, like a shed, don't place your fireworks on concrete. If you're, you have like a concrete floor in your garage, you're storing your fireworks, lay down a couple sheets of 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch plywood, as a barrier, because concrete wicks moisture during freezing and thawing cycles. If it gets where you are gets cold, it also wicks humidity out of the air too. And when it does that, it'll actually soak up into your fireworks and can affect their quality. So keeping fireworks dry, just keep them up off the concrete in a cool, dry, storage place.
Perfect. Let's see here. I'm from California. I guess I'll stick with safe and sane until I can move somewhere that allows aerial stuff. Point taken. I mean, you have your each to own. I mean, that's also a good practice.
Become a rebel.
Obviously make sure. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said become a rebel.
Yeah, definitely do what makes you and your family feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, do what you feel comfortable with. If what you are doing and you're having fun doing it, like shooting off fountains, and you want to stick to that, that's great. I'm happy for you. I love fireworks in all shapes and forms. I love firecrackers down to the little snap and pops. I love to throw little snap and pops. I'll rig them on like a door or something, or put them underneath the toilet seat to prank someone. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with snaps, or cigarette loads are another classic one. That you can mess with. If you have buddies that smoke or something.
Right. Any plans to visit a DFS stand this year? Probably not. I'm not sure. I think I may be a little slower this year with the fireworks. We'll see how things plan up. I got some other projects I've been trying to work on. So, it's interesting too. I got a bunch of videos from last year I shot, and even 2 or 3 years ago, I still never even uploaded it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. So we'll see. I mean, for me, fireworks is more or less 4th of July type of thing. And I try to stay informed about it. That's when I started, ventured off and opened up the separate channels, because I felt I had more than enough content for it to sustain itself. But I'm really not into it year round. But yeah, I mean, I'll make my rounds definitely to some of the stores. See,
I try to upload as much as I can with weekly uploads. I know I don't always get them done. Working, full-time job and running a YouTube channel keeps you pretty busy, and taking care of my kid as well takes a lot of time up as well. I have a 5-year-old, so being a parent, it comes first over the YouTube channel for sure.
Oh, well, I'm glad you have those priorities straight, because I've seen guys in the retro and gaming community. I mean, you would wonder if they have a life. I mean, like, how do I've seen guys streaming on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like, how the heck do you stream on Christmas and Thanksgiving? Like, don't you have a family at some point?
Like me, I go film a video on Thanksgiving, but at least I'm like, hey, who wants to come watch a firework go off? Like, for Thanksgiving, I just hit up one of my buddies. I'm like, hey, you want to shoot off a firework? And he's like, yeah, let's do it,
Oh, definitely. All right. Do we have any last questions before we all sign off here? Going once, going twice. And I want to thank everybody who's new to the channel. I know this past week I went from 200 subscribers. Now I have like almost 800. Probably because of the recent coverage and stuff. So I definitely want to thank all the new subscribers for joining the channel, and for those of you participating. I know one of the things that I've strived to do here on YouTube is my channel is not called Pyro or Retro Gaming Guy. I'm a diverse, well-rounded person, so I don't believe in just trying to be familiar with one particular hobby. I don't know how people do that. So let's see. Definitely. I only shoot at sites. Haven't shot off in California since 2002. Okay.
When will the new brand of Pyro officially come out? Are you talking about the Cloud9 Pyrotechnics brand, or are you talking about the cakes that are currently in development in China?
Callie, you want to clarify your question? When will the new brand of Pyro officially come out?
Are we referring to Cloud9 Pyro, or are we referring to
yes, Cloud9.
Yes, Cloud9. So Cloud9, we're shooting for like Friday or Saturday of this week. So I'm still kind of finishing up that website because it'll be the wholesale website, and you guys will have to have access codes, and I'll have to get all that set up with you guys, so you guys all have your accounts and affiliation with that. And then we're gonna have a separate wholesale login as well on that website for the discounted pricing. So it's all still in the works. We're pushing and developing a website. We just started doing this whole rebrand in the last week. So it's definitely a work in progress, but we're pushing as hard as we can to get it released in time for the 4th of July season for you guys to make sure you have the best smoke this year.
Perfect. I can't order sparklers. I'm sure you can. All right, fellas. I think that about does it for us tonight. Again, we want to thank Crazy Steve for joining our channel, and I'll keep you guys updated for more additional videos. And make sure you hit that notification bell. I don't have planned live streams. I usually do things sporadically, usually with 2 or 3 days notice, or sometimes abruptly. I usually don't like to plan live streams, but I know it's one of the things that YouTube loves and subscribers love too. But make sure you hit that notification bell because I do these things randomly.
And you know what? I'm feeling really, really nice today. Keel, you know what I'm going to do real quick?
Sure. What's going on?
I want everyone to comment in the chat there that's on this live stream. I'm going to do a quick drawing for 50 feet of fuse on this today. I'm going to go ahead and give away 50 feet of fuse.
Sweet.
So let's go ahead and have everyone just comment real quick if you want to be entered. I'll give everyone a minute here.
Yeah, we got 11 viewers, and I don't think everybody's commented. So you guys have to comment. Who are ATF agents? If you guys want some fuse, no, I'm just playing.
ATF agents, if you need the fuse, right?
And deleted user, we know that's Cali Pyro. So we got Rick Barrett. We have him here.
All righty.
So what kind of fuse is this? Is this the quick fuse or?
It will be American Visco in either green, red, or red, white, and blue. Your choice.
Sweet. Is that stuff hard to get right now too because of the shipment issues?
Not really. You just have to know who your sources are. I just ordered a bunch, so.
Okay, because I know usually Pyro Boom, they run out of fuse. I know one year there was a fuse shortage about maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
All right, so here we go. Input 1.
So we got Rick Barrett, we got Cali Pyro, we got A Puello, Mike's Vivid Thunder Pyrotechnics. Let me see who else. We got Soup Freak. And then of course earlier we had Loud Man V8. I'm just scrolling up through the chat of everybody who commented.
So far I got Redbeard, Soup Freak, Loudman V8, Mike's Vivid Thunder Pyrotechnics,
Nicholas Souza. Or Souza, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name.
Souza. That is my homie from formerly Super Fireworks. He actually now has his own independent brand that he's working on as well. So Nico is going to be hopefully importing some fireworks from Brazil very soon.
Andrew Gregory. I wonder if some of these people are on Instagram or Facebook. Hopefully, I don't want to leave anybody out if they left the chat. I know how it goes. You can't, sit through the entire thing.
All right. Sounds good. So
Justin Pyro Wilt. He was on here.
Okay.
Yeah, Justin Pyro Wilt. And somebody else here. I don't know how to say their name. XLNASA, XL NASA. They were on here earlier.
All right.
All right, so I think that's enough names for now. It's about 10 people or so. And
I got 8 on here. So I got Redbeard, Soup Freak, Loudman, Mike's Vivid, Souza, Andrew Gregory, Justin Pyro Wilt, and NASA. Did I miss anyone?
No, let's just roll with it.
All right.
That's part of the reason why people should participate in live streams. You never know what happens.
Right. It's having fun.
Yeah, don't forget Kelly Pyro.
You guys hear the music? Y'all ready?
Yeah, who was the winner?
Andrew Gregory.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So, Andrew, I will go ahead and ship out your fuse here once it comes to me. I have it on the way. I just got to wait for the package to arrive, and then I will ship out your 50 feet of fuse. You already have my Facebook, Andrew, so just reach out to me on there. I'll get you taken care of.
Oh, sweet. Perfect. I'm glad you guys were able to log in and possibly win some stuff for everybody who participated today and watched. Thanks for watching. So we'll definitely do this again. Obviously, it'll be random. When my channel continues to grow, my affiliate channels and other social media, as well as people subscribing to my Patreon, I will be doing some other cool stuff. So keep that in mind. That's why I ask people to try to either donate or participate, because I do believe in giving back to the community and doing some outrageous stuff. So, all right, guys, you guys all have a good night. And again, Steve, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kia. It's always great when I get to come on and talk with you. I always like talking fireworks with the latest stuff and getting you guys the latest news whenever I can with my sources. So, like I said, thanks for your continued support, Keo. I always enjoy coming on your show, and I hope you enjoy it as well.
All right, thanks, guys. You guys all have a good night. Peace.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in.